more than 50% of your decisions which you make on daily basis about money are influenced by people.
What was the number which you came up with? If I reach this, that's freedom achieved.
So my number is very, very simple. Say 8 to 10 crores. 4 years, my salary went from 20 lakhs to 1 crore. I have to buy something for, let's say, 1 lakh rupees. If I buy this, I'll have to go to work for 10 more days. Is it worth? 90% of the time, the answer was no. My name is Bhomesh, my wife Bhumika, and I have two kids, Sarvesh and Janak. They are 10 and 3. Born and brought up in Uttarakhand, used to be UP before, and Haridwar region. I graduated and came to Bangalore. So since then, I've been here 18 years, 19 years now in Bangalore. Worked in IT, like most of the people here, almost 13 years. 2019, I decided to quit my job. So people say, what do you do these days? So I say, full-time I raise kids and part-time I do rest of the things.
Nice. And your wife must love that concept.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
And post your entire educational phase, when you moved to Bangalore, could you tell us what was your first job? How did that happen? And what was your starting salary?
So my salary was maybe 4 lakhs rupees when I started. So from 4 to 5 lakhs, it went to 10 lakhs very easily because I just changed job or people looked at my background.
Right.
Then I think next 3-4 years, my income salary didn't increase. Maybe from 10 lakhs, I went to 15-20 lakhs in next 3-4 years. Stayed in the same company. But I think in 3-4 years, I had reached a place where I had developed more skills, which means I was a techie, but I learned sales.
Got it.
I was only into, let's say, one area of technology. I learned few more. So that helped me from 2000, I guess 14 till 2018, 19, 2018. In 4 years, my salary went from 20 lakhs to 1 crore.
Nice.
And I moved from like a business manager to a CEO. So this was a phase where my income also multiplied and my skill was growing. And that's how I was getting all these promotions. So yes, in 2019, I quit with the same salary. I decided to quit. So around 13 years is what I worked.
Basically, what you've achieved right now is FIRE, right? Financially
Yes.
independent, retired early. So when was the first time you sort of read or learned about the concept of FIRE? And how did you sort of plan for it?
So I think that clarity I didn't have for many, many years. For next 3-4 years, I thought just making more money and saving it will help. But I think 2013, I got a clarity. I remember hiring somebody. He charged me for making a financial plan and I paid him 25,000 rupees, which was a big amount. So he made a plan and he asked me all this, to list all the goals. In next, let's say, 30-40 years, where will I spend money? And I listed my kids' education, marriage, buying a home, buying cars, retirement fund, Corpus for my mom, emergency fund, and travel. I think we made like 7-8 buckets. And I then calculated, and this guy obviously helped me do this, like what is the cost of doing it today. So we calculated that amount. And then we started seeing that if from 2013 till 2000, let's say 23, if I invest for 10 years, how much should I invest? So that in 2037, I have this, let's say, 50 lakhs rupees. Once I knew that numbers will meet, and which I felt in 2017, I think I was able to meet those numbers. One of the reason was the amount of savings I was doing. My expenses were very low. So the plan which was created by him was, I think, 7 years to 9 years of investing every month.
Right.
Most of these goals were adding around 15,000 to 20,000 of investment every month, assuming you'll get 8-10% returns on average, right? So it add up to around, let's say, 1.5 lakhs of monthly investment,
Right.
to achieve some of these goals. So what I did was, I think I was making in excess of 2.5 lakhs, I guess, that time. So I decided to invest. I think I started with like 10-20,000 per month, then 50,000, 1 lakh, and then now I think I increase 120, 130, 140. So which means I was saving 60-70% of my income by now. That increase in those 2 years, I said, when I worked for the startup, incentives were very high. I was saving like 2.5-3 lakhs. And that I continued for those 4 years after that.
Nice.
So that, I guess, reduced that period of 7 to 8 years which we had. It reduced quickly. And by 2018, I think 17 only, I was seeing that most of these goals are done.
Main question, right? What was the number which you came up with? Like, okay, if I reach this, then that's freedom achieved.
So my number is very, very simple. Let's say 8 to 10 crores
Right.
is what I feel will be the final number. And as I said, like 3-4 goals are still pending.
Right.
So maybe 60-70% of it I've achieved.
Lovely. So I think if you can tell us something about what your expenses looked like when you began in 2005, how did that progress? Did the expenses go up? Did you still keep a sort of type of lifestyle maintained so that your income is more something on, what was your thought process there and how did that progress?
I would spend money on what was needed because I had loans. I had to pay off loans. So first 2 years I was paying off loans. Whatever is left over, I would spend. I wouldn't invest. When loan was closed, I started investing FDs and whatever RDs.
And this was around 2008, you said,
2000,
years into
2008.
working.
By 2009 and 10, now I remember that my salary was let's say around 10 lakhs. Okay. From 2019, my salary became 10 times, right?
Right.
So 2009, I think we were spending 50,000 rupees. So right now we spend around 1.5 lakhs.
So, how did you sort of manage to not be, let's say, illusioned or disillusioned, however you would want to see it, by the increase in the income and to maintain your lifestyle in the same way and not increase the expenses?
So the credit goes to my wife because if your partner is not aligned, it's impossible to achieve this.
Right.
So me and my wife decide that we want to be free. And then after that, there was no discussion about, hey, my brother has bought a house, or you know what, they are going for foreign vacation. Because if that nagging is happening at home, it'll kill you. Or in fact, my mother used to talk about this a lot. My cousins also, some of them have done well. If my mother will come and nag me, your cousin has done this, it'll bother me, right? So once I told her clearly, I was dropping her to airport, and I said, please don't tell my cousins or my other family member what I'm doing, and don't tell me what they are doing. Only once I told my mother, and she didn't mention about it again.
You talked about how your long-term goals have investments in equity. You're not going to touch them till the time arises.
Correct.
So for your monthly expenses, etc., I'm assuming there's passive income coming in. There's a income flow. How much is that contributing to managing your expenses
1.5 lakhs
every month?
every month. It comes through mostly debt investments and dividends, because these are the two things which I'm not working for. Different people take different approaches. So when I talk to somebody, they are only looking at passive income. But passive income will generally come from, like I said, dividends. It's a smaller amount, percentage wise also, and it'll come from debt, right? So what I will do is I will keep, let's say, something which I need for life. Like I said, I will keep it in debt and through passive income. Like next month I need money. Next 3 months I need money. This year I need money. It has to come from passive income because I don't know whether I can perform to create more income right now, or whether my market will do well or not. But when it comes to fire, you need goals to be achieved.
Got it.
So two different approaches, but yes, most of the people go either way. I feel both are required.
So now, coming to the portion of post-retirement, how you're sort of covering the expenses and your corpus, right? So can we first talk about how currently your portfolio is allocated in terms of debt, equity, and if you can give us some numbers in relation to how your portfolio is today?
So it is very simple. All these goals which are there, if any goal is there more than 7-8 years from now, I would put in equity. Anything which I need in next 7 years, I would put in debt. So I still have around 50 to 60% in equity.
Got it.
I have around 20, maybe 25% in debt and kind of liquid money. I generally like to keep like emergency fund very high because I'm not working now, right? The money is not flowing like that, right? Before. So my liquid and debt investment will be 20-25%. 15-20% has been into very high risk investments like startups and cryptocurrency, something which is, I don't know whether it will survive or whether I'll make money or not.
Right.
But because I want to create a big corpus tomorrow, maybe this will help.
Coming to pre-retirement and post-retirement now, in terms of the expenses which we talked about, before you took retirement and after, what are the changes that happened? Has it increased? Has it gone down? What's been the difference?
Let me tell you, more than 50% of your decisions which you make on daily basis about money are influenced by people. Just because I was out of that environment, slowly our expenses went down by 40-50%. When I had to make a choice, take a decision about money, it was very clear to me. Let's say I'm getting paid 10,000 rupees as a salary per day, right?
Right.
And I have to buy something for, let's say, 1 lakh rupees. If I buy this, I'll have to go to work for 10 more days. Is it worth? 90% of the time, the answer was no. And that's how I was able to make important decisions in life. Like if something was really important for the family, it makes sense to go to work for 10 days more, right? If it's about family's health, even for let's say goal to buy a basic car, 5 lakhs rupees. I'm okay going 50 days and buy a 5 lakhs rupees car. But once it becomes like luxury, like I have a watch of 5,000 rupees and suddenly I like another watch of 10,000 rupees. That time it didn't make sense for me.
Fair.
So that's how I took my money decisions towards like last few years.
And you obviously have a bunch of real estate investments as well, which you've spoken of. So, what sort of do you constitute that in your corpus, or you just consider that outside?
No, so I bought something in I think 2012 13 for maybe 15-20 lakhs.
Right.
And I think all of them kind of double. One house, which I remember, was not doubled. I think 2011 we took that house. It went up only by 50%. It is a house.
Right.
So yeah, another thing here is when it appreciates, the construction doesn't appreciate. Let's say 1 crore land, 1 crore construction in a house, right? 1 crore land keep appreciating. So it'll become 2 crores, let's say, in 5-7 years. But the construction will not grow.
Right.
So your constructed house generally will grow by, let's say, 50% in the same time. So I think 2019 it grew by only 50%. 2020 we exited that one. 2 lands which I bought, one 2013, one 2014. One I exited in 2019-20, around double. And 2014 what I bought, I think took longer than 9 years, around doubled. And 2023 I exited. So that way, decent returns. But yeah, lesson learned. If I get into real estate again, how to get in.
I'm sure you'd have had opportunities to maybe get some jobs abroad or something like that with your qualifications and your experience, but you haven't gone abroad. You've been in Bangalore for a while. Do you think that for achieving the FIRE goals, it's a better choice to stick around in India, or going abroad might help you?
What I realized, if you want to be free, you need to execute your plan, right? I felt that I was in control in my country. First, in terms of expenses, I knew what my expenses are.
Right.
And if I can control my expenses, I can hit this number by much faster. If your expenses are like 50,000 versus 1 lakh, right? Your FIRE will be faster, right? Second, when I go to other countries, especially Western countries, you don't get help there. You are busier. In India, I buy my time. So I came here in cab. I didn't drive today. And it was 1 hour, 10 minutes. And I worked 1 hour, 10 minutes. In other countries, that is difficult. I think that is good enough to, create a plan and execute a plan to become free. And third reason, which was, I think, very personal, I just felt that I will not feel like that powerful.
Right.
Somebody will write my visa and they'll say, you can only stay until this time. So it's not more, it's not about my skills anymore there. It will be more dependent on what that country rules and regulations are.
Right.
And I would want to be feel like a king in my own country versus feel like a slave in another country.
And you retired in 2018-19, around that time.
Actually,
right?
19.
19. So how did it feel when you actually, took that decision saying, okay, I'm not going to... You've told us a story of how you decided.
Yeah.
But how was the feeling the next day when you didn't, walk into work?
I think that joy of raising kids, I realized that day that, you know what, kids don't need your money, they need your time. And the joy I saw in him when he saw Papa coming and, picking, dropping and doing everything. So I think time with family. And I guess this is something which is not a kind of a tangible, it's an intangible of life, that you are able to spend that time with your kids when they are growing up, right? If I was in job, I won't be able to do it.
Any advice you would want to give to couples in their 30s generally in terms of financially, how to manage, any learnings which you've had over your journey so far?
So 20s, no matter how much we plan, we don't know what is going to happen, right? We are trying to build career, like I was trying to build my career. 30s is where actually you start making money, right? You are married, let's say both of you are working or one of you are working, decent money is coming in. So that is where I think the focus should not be in buying apartments or houses and cars. Second, I would say plan your family, because later you do, difficult is going to get, right? And we have 2 kids, so we know the difference also, right? Your body is not same. So plan your family. Don't think too much about what others are doing. If they are delaying their family, no problem. You plan your family. And learn to invest, not accumulating of liabilities like house and car are liabilities during that phase. I would say learn how to invest in this phase. Doesn't matter what returns you get. Your fire number will get achieved maybe 1 year later. But if you do this, you will achieve.
Right.
But if you go start accumulating liabilities and only stay focused on savings, you are going away from your fire goal.
Right. Thank you for watching and supporting our channel. If you like the stories we tell, here's your chance to be a part of it. If you or anybody you know has an interesting financial journey to share, then please fill the form in the pinned comment below and we'll get in touch with you.